Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As part of my contribution, I'd like to firstly pay tribute to the Hansard office and secondly to the wonderful, hard-working, good lawyer turned good member of Parliament, the Honourable Leon Dazelle. And because of the Hansard office, we have the speech notes readily available for us to reflect on and to witness how history repeats itself. And the member who spoke before me, Honourable Member Jonathan Young, quoted Winston Churchill, and interestingly, the Honourable Tariana Turia, on the bill's first reading in May 2009, if my memory serves me well, also quoted Winston Churchill, and I'd like to quote her speech at that time. And she said, "Winston Churchill and Rodney Hyde have something in common apart from looks. The Rodney is definitely in better shape." It was Winston Churchill who famously said that if there are 10,000 regulations, all respect for the law is destroyed. Almost 80 years later, Mr. Hyde has introduced a bill to do something once and for all to address the duplications, gaps, errors, and inconsistencies that make a mockery of our law. I was very lucky in May 2009 that I got the opportunity to rise and take a call on the bill's first reading, and I responded to Honourable Tariana Taria that Winston Churchill would have been very pleased to hear what I would say in the next 10 or so minutes. So then I said Mr. Churchill was a great statesman and a great historian. And given he's a great historian, so let us look briefly at the historical side of the regulatory improvement bill. I want to join my colleagues in congratulating the Honourable Leon Dazelle, who introduced this bill in September 2008. The Honourable Leon Dazelle made history in September 2008. And she introduced a brand new bill that aimed to improve some existing laws and reduce compliance costs for businesses. More importantly, I'd like to remind the members here, more importantly, the bill was introduced as a result of a careful 15-month quality regulation review and reflected consultation between government agencies and 200 businesses. Therefore, I rise to support this bill both for its content and for the way it was introduced. In that regard, to some extent, the bill itself may be more important than the content. The Honourable Leon Dazelle and the Labour-led government listened to business people and set about implementing their recommendations. As I pointed out some nearly 12 months ago on this bill's first reading, that consultation is particularly relevant today, as we have witnessed this week and many times in the past month in this Honourable House, that the way recommendation could be systematically ignored and how legislation are rammed through. So, borrowing Honourable Tariana Taria's words, what makes a mockery of our law or the way we lawmakers are making our law is that such an important legislation can be rammed through in such a manner. I want to reiterate what my colleagues Stuart Nash and Click Karen said before, that Labour supports this bill, it's Labour's bill anyway, because it is the result of our careful 15-month quality regulation review and reflects consultation between government agencies and 200 businesses. As Stuart Nash just said, Labour Party is a true party for business people and of business. So the bill is more important than the content. For the reference to Mr. John Boscawen, I want to reiterate again that we listened to these business people and set about implementing their recommendations, whereas his ACT party, in terms of its style, is to ignore recommendations and come up with its own plan. This is a typical example of the National Act approach to lawmaking, i.e. no consultation. Back to this bill. The bill makes small and controversial but important changes to the regulatory environment. The Quality Regulation Review also led to a greatly enhanced regulatory impact statement regime. Yet another bill that the Labour introduced, and Honourable Rodney Hyde just taking credit for this one. Any regulatory improvement bills are a sensible way of ensuring quality regulation, unlike the ACT Party's regulatory responsibility bill, which languishes on the paper. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity for me to take a call, and I'm looking forward to the debate at the committee stages. Thank you very much.
Well, that concludes that debate. And the question before the House is that the motion be agreed to. Those members of that opinion will say aye. The contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it. A party vote has been called for. Clerk, please conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
43 votes in favour.
Green Party.
9 votes opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes in favour.
Maori Party.
E rima ngā pōti kore whakai.
Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 108, the noes are 14. The motion is agreed to.
Regulatory Improvement Bill, second reading.
This bill is set down for committee stage forthwith.
Mr. Speaker.
I declare the House and Committee for the consideration of the Regulatory Improvement Bill.
Mr. Speaker. I'll stay.
Now? I do that now.
Members, the House and Committee on the Regulatory Improvement Bill.
Mr. Chair,
The Honourable Georgina Te Huhu.
I seek leave for all the provisions of the Regulatory Improvement Bill to be taken as one question and for the debate to be of no more than 3 hours of duration.
The question is that I'll seek leave. Is there any objection to that course of action? There is no objection. The question is that Part 1 stand part. Oh, my apologies. The question is that Parts 1 to 9 and Clauses 1 and 2 stand part. The Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Chairman, thanks for the opportunity to